None of those are natural bodies. Those guys don't walk around looking one way.
So Frank Grillo just said the one thing every guy in Hollywood whispers about but never admits out loud. Steroids. He basically ripped the curtain off the biggest open secret in the industry. Because let's be real, how do you go from average looking dad bod to superhero material in under 6 months and somehow pack on 30+ pounds of pure muscle? That ain't no chicken and broccoli, that's chemistry. And when Grillo points it out, it suddenly makes sense why so many transformations look less like hard work and more like science experiments with a personal trainer standing in as the lab assistant. Now here's the case of the biggest fake natty in Hollywood, and before I even say the name, you already see the image in your head. Obviously, The Rock. The guy shows up at the Venus Film Festival looking way slimmer, and of course that's gonna start debates, because not even a few months ago he was shooting for the Smashing Machine built like an absolute tank. And this isn't a one-time thing, that's been the cycle for years. And yet, through all of this, The Rock has denied ever touching gear, which at this point feels like it's not just fooling us, he's fooling himself. The man's hairline retired before he did, but apparently his testosterone stayed natural and thriving at 52? Come on. Rock being natty is as realistic as Marvel movies suddenly stopping with the post-credit scenes. It's not happening.
But what Joe is saying The Rock did, which is steroids, is something The Rock has denied. His father denied, his uncles denied, the whole family's denied. It's one of those things. Wouldn't it be overly big deal? In all fairness, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if you weren't out there telling people about nutrition and telling people about your diet, telling people about your workouts. As soon as you start doing that and trying to influence and motivate and bring people along the journey, but you lie to them about the journey, right? I mean, he's Liver King. You're Liver King all over again. It's the exact same thing.
But here's the thing. This is where the problem lies. Nobody's denying the guy works hard. Even on steroids, building a body like that takes an insane amount of discipline, diet, training, and scheduling. But when these celebrities stand on interviews and pretend it's just chicken, broccoli, and hard work, that's when it gets shady, because what they're really selling is an illusion. They're packaging natural as a brand and kids eat it up, thinking if they grind hard enough, they'll look like The Rock or Hugh Jackman in Logan. We all know the pattern. The overnight transformations, the bulk in record time, the way they cut down in weeks but hold on to that insane size. Christian Bale yo-yos from The Machinist to Batman Begins, Chris Hemsworth grows into a Norse god for Thor, Zac Efron goes from frat boy shredded to Baywatch Beachbody with shoulders wide enough to land planes on. And every single time the line is the same, it's diet and training. Yeah, okay, diet and training and a pharmacy.
Does The Rock say he's clean?
He has implied it pretty heavily.
There's not a chance in hell he's clean. Not a chance in hell. As big as The Rock is, at 50, when you're looking at a physique, let's look at a physique of The Rock, like a full jacked Rock. Find The Rock at his most jackety jacked. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And it's like, is this pro longevity? Like, of course not. And it's
no, he's so massive and he's so different than he was when he was 30.
The lie is what makes it toxic, because these guys aren't just actors, they're selling products. Supplements, fitness plans, even their own tequila brand slapped on top of that image. And the message the audience gets is simple. If you're not transforming like this, you're lazy, you're not disciplined enough. When in reality, the only thing you're missing is a prescription and a Hollywood paycheck. It's just the fact that one point still stands, and that's this. Hollywood has forever ruined the perception of what a great body even is. And to really understand just how badly they've warped it, you've got to rewind the clock. Back in the 50s and 60s, the benchmark of the ideal male physique wasn't Marvel-sized monsters. They were guys like Sean Connery, Steve McQueen, Clint Eastwood. These men were lean, strong, athletic looking, and at the time they were considered the pinnacle of male appeal. Fast forward to today, and those same physiques would get roasted online as lazy or skinny fat. They'd be called out of shape when in reality they were actually built very well by natural standards, because back then acting was about acting. Not about turning into a science project just to land a role. If you played Superman in that era, you didn't need to starve yourself for 48 hours just to look dry on camera. You didn't need shoulder pads under your suit or a cycle of anabolics so aggressive you're suddenly shopping for wigs or popping finasteride just to slow down the hair fallout. You didn't have to risk your kidneys just to hit your marks. Back then, it wasn't toxic. It wasn't performative bodybuilding disguised as acting. It was more about the feats, the storytelling, the character than how shredded your obliques looked under 4K lighting. Now it's all optics. Hollywood pumps out this image, this standard, and they sell it like gospel. They tell you this is the perfect male body, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to look jacked. The problem comes when it's marketed as natural, when guys who are clearly enhanced stand in front of a microphone and tell kids it's all chicken and broccoli and you just gotta want it more. That's where it gets poisonous, because the lie doesn't just protect their image, it infects the audience. Younger kids see it and feel like they're the problem. They think they're not working hard enough, that something's wrong with them, when in reality the only difference is their idol is juiced to the gills. Slowly, that lie pushes them towards shortcuts, towards steroids, because the benchmark they're chasing was never real in the first place.
You know, when you see The Rock and he's standing there with his shirt off, with his shorts on, there's not a man alive who doesn't want to be built like that. They all want to be built like that. So if he's telling you that he's not doing anything to get that I don't know, and I don't know if he is. Is he telling people? Does he say, I've never taken steroids in my life? Does he say that?
He said in one instance that when he was 18, him and his friends took something and it gave him gynecomastia and then he never touched it again or something like that.
That seems suspect.
Super suspect.
First of all, when you're 18, just doing something once is not going to give you gyno.
It
right?
could.
Could it really?
The most prevalence I've seen of gyno development is in individuals who, like, without enough information went into haphazard use of like a pro-hormone or like an oral steroid without understanding like the pharmacology around it and then fuck themselves up.
One time?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like you do like a heavy cycle of D-ball or something, get some gyno and...
No shit. I thought it would take a few cycles.
To develop into like a significant matured titty, then yeah. But like it depends on the genetic predisposition because some guys get gyno just through puberty too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a natural thing that just fucks up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, him saying that he did something once when he was 18, he got gyno. Like, how'd you take care of it?
Yeah.
What'd you do to get rid of the gyno?
Yeah, presumably.
Right. You have to have an operation.
Yeah.
Like, people need to understand, like, that's not fluid. It's like a gland gets
Yeah.
bigger, right?
Yeah, it's like literal glandular tissue that you need to get like surgically removed.
Have you ever seen it, the operation?
Oh yeah, I've done videos on it.
Oh, that's right, you have.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's like you're pulling those little alien chest bursters out of your titty. It's amazing how much mass there is behind those things.
No, yeah. No, they like even for such like a little something that's just barely protruding cosmetically, just at an objective look, when you actually look at what came out, it's like, damn.
Yeah.
That's a fuck ton of tissue.
It's a fucking egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, but I mean, if that's all if he's saying that's all he's ever done, that's crazy talk.
Yeah. It's like at that point, it's weird. It's like trying to half tell the truth, but not
Right.
at all at the same time.
Also, when you look at his physique in the early days of the WWE.
Oh, nothing in comparison.
Yeah, let's go to like the early days of The Rock. I mean, he was like very athletic, great genetics, big, strong guy.
Yeah.
But he didn't look anything like he looks now. The mass and the striations and the vascularity.
This version of him did, but like this version definitely didn't.
Yeah, like that version. I mean, he's fit.
On the right, yeah.
Looks good. Like, but look at the difference there.
Yeah.
He also had hair then.
Yeah, I mean, looks very fit. I mean, he's pretty jacked. That's more recent because that's the crazy tattoo. That's him now. I mean, this is much older. I mean, he's a fucking massive,
There's
heavily muscle
some shots
guy.
of him where it's just like,
So what kind of stuff do you think? Well, that was he looks pretty good there. He just doesn't look lean.
I think there was like, type in The Rock Scorpion King. I think that was an old enough movie where it was like on the red carpet, the guy just looked like a totally, I don't know, like a shell of what he is now, and that was a long.
Come on, not bad.
This is bad
I know,
CGI.
I actually never.
Been added
Maybe
that
this isn't a
as
good
a-
example.
Why don't you look red carpet?
That's.
It looks pretty good there.
Yeah, that's good. I forget which.
Well, maybe on the red carpet he was off the cycle.
There was one picture where it just looked like dramatically different. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but okay, it wasn't that year.
Yeah, no, he looks pretty big.
Yeah,
there. Look, he's a giant dude, massive human being, and clearly when he's lean and He looks great, but
Yep.
what do you think you would have to do to achieve that kind of a physique at 50? First of all, you wouldn't maintain that kind of mass as you naturally got older, normally,
No,
right?
no, definitely not. Like, it's like the total. Again, it's like there's a reason why I feel that your body naturally down-regulates a lot of processes too, potentially to like conserve, like stay alive longer. Because the bigger of a human you are, the faster you're gonna die in general. Like, I don't see many like 7-foot guys walking around at 80 plus years old. Personally,
Very few.
Yeah.
Isn't like Bill Russell was like one of the few?
He passed away.
How old was he though? He was quite
He's-
old.
Yeah. I think he got close to 90.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but in general, like even bodybuilders, like again, they're subjecting themselves to absurd amounts of drugs, but at the same time, like the sheer body weight and the stress it imposes on all organ systems and the longevity of everything internally, not just like it's all something that accelerates you towards death faster, like essentially. So it's like total antithesis of longevity at the end of the day.
Right.
So yeah, you're definitely not gonna be able to sustain that at 50, even on HRT. Like you're going to have to be, he's gonna have to like transiently push the envelope fairly often if he's doing multiple rolls on a consistent basis that require this look. And it seems like he's been like pretty fucking dialed about maintaining it like year over year now.
Yeah, he's never really gotten thin or fat or he's never shrunk down then built back up.
Like, there's definitely something about once you've built the tissue, you can retain it with like a very modest amount, or at least to some extent. Like it's still going to typically be something outside of what would be normally achievable in terms of your hormone production, because if you went totally natural, you would just fucking melt away. But a lot of it is the building the muscle. I'm sure you can attest to building muscle is magnitudes harder than it is to just like hold your physique.
Yes.
So like you could get away with maybe working out like a few times a week with like very moderate volume and maintain exactly what you have, but to actually build, you're going to have to go into a surplus. You're going to have to increase your volume. You're going to have to increase your, you know, your rest, your sleep quality, duration, etc. Like it's all very demanding. So it's not, it wouldn't be unthinkable that, or unfathomable, whatever the terminology would be, that he would use a shit ton or like a decent amount, blast, got to where he is, and then he could sustain it with what he deems to be not healthy, but like healthy enough that he can sort of just like cruise on it and like hold his shape for whatever the foreseeable future of him doing these kind of roles.
So what kind of stuff do you think someone would take to achieve that sort of physique?
I don't think it's very dissimilar from what like Liver King. Everything he's doing is pharmacy derived and prescribed. Like there was a reason why the compounds he chose, some of them are like, for example, Winstrol, not something that has a clinical application generally, but like there are certain medications that are only available through a pharmacy legally. You can get prescribed by a doctor and get overseen by a doctor. So like I would imagine The Rock is not touching stuff like Trenbolone. That's, you know, like an underground product that is not going to have like pharmaceutical standards for its production. And it's just not like a safe compound. Not that any of them are safe, but like generally it's not the most I don't know, risk averse compound.
And what are the risks when someone, especially when someone's like 50 and you're doing that? Like what are the risks?
Significant like heart enlargement and like impeding the actual function of the cardiovascular system in general, kidney stress, depending on if you're using oral steroids or not, liver toxicity, neurodegeneration is going to be accelerated from high doses of androgens. Like across the board, it's just like broad spectrum terrible for you. Above HRT.
Hollywood sold them an illusion, and in the process, it sold them inferiority. That's the real side effect of the fake natty era. The first real shift towards these insane bodies didn't even come from Hollywood itself. It came in the 70s and 80s when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone stormed the scene. Suddenly, the benchmark for a leading man wasn't just being fit, it was about having veins like road maps and body fat so low it looked like they were dehydrating on purpose. And that was the start. That was when the expectation of what a hero should look like went from athletic to superhuman. And honestly, they ruined body standards for decades to come, because once people saw Arnold on screen, once they saw Stallone tearing through jungles and Rambo, that became the new baseline. You weren't just an actor anymore, you had to be a statue, a mass of muscle that barely looked human. The aftershocks of that shift are still being felt today. Fast forward to the 2010s and 2020s and you've got Hugh Jackman literally starving and dehydrating himself to get Wolverine down to a single-digit body fat. Veins popping out of his arms like ropes. You've got Chris Hemsworth transforming into a walking Norse god for Thor. Kumail Nanjiani shocking the world when he went from a regular comedian to suddenly having Marvel tier delts overnight. And every single time, the message being sold is the same: hard work, diet, discipline. But here's the truth. Hollywood never came back down from that 80s steroid peak. It just kept climbing. And now, instead of celebrating actors for their craft, the industry measures them by how close they can get to looking like action figures. That's the legacy Arnold and Stallone left behind. Not just movies, but an entire culture warped around physiques so extreme they set fire to what normal even means. At this point, Hollywood hasn't just shifted the standard, it's completely ruined it. Now, circling back to The Rock, this guy has almost certainly been on steroids for 3 decades straight. And look, taking gear and keeping it private is one thing, but actually coming out and lying to people's faces? Saying, I don't take steroids, they don't even work on me. Like, come on, Dwayne. This isn't Fast and Furious. You don't get to just defy physics because you believe in family. He's even claimed he only tried them as a teen, but they gave him gyno, so he never touched them again. Right, and now you're in your 50s with over 50 pounds of lean muscle hanging off your frame like you're prepping for Mr. Olympia? Bro. No, that's not good genetics, that's not iron discipline, that's chemistry stacked on chemistry, stacked on chemistry. And that's the thing. Nobody's mad at the work, nobody's denying the training, but when you're 52 years old sitting at 260 pounds shredded with traps like a house of family of 4, and you still want us to believe you're natty? That's not just delusion, that's marketing. That's selling the fantasy, knowing damn well people will eat it up while you laugh all the way to the bank. So after all the speculation, The Rock finally speaks on his weight cut. His words: I've been dieting, happy to not carry all that weight. I've been able to tuck my shirt now. I don't look pregnant, so it's all good. Then he drops the comparison. Think Clint Eastwood at 75, sinewy muscles, he's lean, but it feels good. And that right there says everything. After decades of being Hollywood's walking mountain, he's basically admitting the weight was a burden. The irony? The same industry that pushed him to look superhuman is the one that forced him into this shift. Something worth noting is The Rock's weight loss. He didn't just slim down for a role, he dropped close to 60 pounds, going from nearly 300 to about 240. And the timing, it comes right after his June 2025 heart scare involving arterial plaque buildup. That's not coincidence. That's consequence. Because decades of anabolic use take their toll. Steroids don't just build muscle, they quietly destroy the heart. Plaque in the arteries, arrhythmias, long-term weakening of the cardiovascular system. You can maintain that extreme mass for only so long before your body calls your bluff. And when the heart says enough, the muscle melts away with it. No matter how big the brand, no matter how massive the image, there's no body worth trading in your heart for. On the other side of the spectrum, there were people actually supporting this transformation. Do people criticizing slimmed down Rock know anything at all about health and fitness? Have you ever been ripped or jacked? He likely slimmed down on purpose, and nearing 60, he's trying to do the serious actor thing. Totally normal. The Rock slimmed down for a movie role. But even if the weight loss wasn't for a movie role, I thought after Chadwick passed, y'all were going to stop doing that thing you all do when you assume someone is ill. And as always, no video is complete until we get the internet's opinion on the entire situation. The Rock, after his doctor told him he had to stop the gear or he was going to have a heart attack. It's blunt, but honestly it explains the whole picture. You don't just drop 60 pounds of muscle overnight because of dieting. You do it because your body, or in this case your doctor, basically gave you a final warning. It's like the ultimate plot twist. Spend decades selling hard work and discipline only for reality to pull the plug on the cycle. But The Rock says he never used steroids. And right under it, The Rock has also never lied once in his whole life. Followed by, he said so himself, it must be true since he never lies. That's the whole circus in one screenshot. The man could be 300 pounds of lean muscle at age 52 with veins like power lines, but sure, if he says he's natty, then he's natty. Because apparently the only qualification you need to prove you're natural is saying it out loud. The Rock's sudden weight loss isn't just a diet story, it's a reality check. After decades of claiming hard work and chicken breast built a 300-pound frame, his heart finally called time. Steroids wreck the body from the inside out, and no amount of PR spin can hide that. Supporters see a healthier Rock, critics see decades of lies catching up. Either way, the illusion is broken, Hollywood sold a fake standard, and now the cracks are showing.